Smoking ruined my life. Hopefully you guys don't make the same mistake, especially at a young age. Started smoking while I was in high school. Looking back, I do regret it. Smoking can hold people back in so many different ways. Once I started smoking a lot, my friend group started changing. How I dressed started changing. How I presented myself. How often I got a haircut. My eating habits changed. My sleeping habits changed. All that, man. And for the most part, in a negative way. Financial habits changed. I was going out to eat all the time. I don't want to say I looked like a bum, but I just looked more rough, I just looked less kept together, My friend group changed too, of course, as you start smoking and doing those things. You want to hang out with people who do that. You are who you hang around. I think they said your net worth is like your 2 or 3 closest friends. You add all your guys' income and divide it by the amount of people. That's around, how much you're going to make or, where you're going to be at until you find some new friends and level up. I just wasted so much time, man. There's a lot of times where I would leave school early. It held me back in a lot of different ways. I could have been a better student. I was kind of just doing the minimum to turn in projects, to take the test, just circling stuff. I graduated with like a 3.4, 3.5 in high school, but I could have did way better. And even in college, I was still smoking a lot for the most part. I have a bachelor's degree. I graduated with like a 2.9, 3.0, so I could have did it way better in college. So what I noticed is smoking can really mess up your discipline in life. It takes away from your ambition and your drive and your hunger for your goals and for reaching success and in general being productive. I noticed whenever I take big breaks or when I don't do it often at all and keep it in very, very moderation, I'm way more productive. I wake up earlier, Like I used to sleep until 11, 12 o'clock, in the afternoon. Now I'm up at like 7, 8, 9 at the latest. I'm still going to sleep around the same time, but I'm not staying up as late. It is easier for me to fall asleep. I noticed that I'm getting a way better quality of sleep now that I'm, sober for the most part. When you go to sleep high, it might be easier to fall asleep, but to me, it's not the same level of quality of sleep. I'll wake up, I'll sleep like for 12 hours. I'll wake up and it felt like I didn't even go to sleep. It felt like I took a nap. But now that I've been sobering up and been working out, eating a little better, being more productive, reading more, I'll go to sleep every night. It never fails. I'll go to sleep around 12 at the latest, maybe. I wake up around 2, 3. It feels like I just got a whole night's of rest. I wake up in the middle of the night and be ready to go and kind of like force myself to go back to sleep. I warm up way quicker in the morning. I'm sure you guys can relate to, you're almost like a car. In the morning, you have to warm it up. You have to defrost. If you wake up and your mom is talking to you a lot or asking you to do stuff, it's like you just woke up. You're a little foggy. You're waiting for your brain to, get ready and get sharper for the day. You need to put some water in your system, things like that. But anybody smoking out there, smoking a lot, spending a lot of money on, their habit. Looking back, I probably spent over $1,000 just on my smoking habits. At one point, I was smoking daily, but there's people who smoke way more than me, and I'm sure they pay at least $200-$300 a month, maybe even $500 just for the habit. That's like rent to me. You could be doing so much investments with that. You could be helping out your family. You could be elevating your life, eating better, get a nicer house or nicer apartment, nicer car. You could do so many better things. And, looking back, this is something me and my dad got in an argument with like 5-6 years ago when I was smoking a lot. He was like, Rich, you're spending 100 a week or, 75 every 2 weeks on weed. Like, that's a lot of money. And I told him, like, that's just as if I was going out to eat or if I was buying shoes or if I was buying, clothes, whatever. And he's like, no, it's not the same thing. Like, you're spending it on something that kills your brain cells, something that is holding you back, something that is, making you more depressed. And it made me realize, like, dang, this stuff really is holding me back. So 2019 to right when the pandemic started, like March 2020, I was an everyday smoker, probably multiple times a day. I used to live with one of my best friends, rest in peace to Kendall, at an apartment. So, we were having people over all the time getting lit. Right when the pandemic started and people were losing jobs and the whole world was, out of whack, things like that, it made me realize, like, dang, I really might not be able to afford my habit now. Like, I might lose my job. I might not be qualified for unemployment. This is before I found out, they didn't care about the unemployment. They're just giving it out to everybody, things like that. That's a whole nother topic, but it made me realize, like, weed, this is a distraction. It's not important. It's not helping me get anywhere in life. It's doing way more harm than it is bringing me peace and bringing me positivity. Oh, I was like, it's going to be hard, but I have to stop. And that was probably the most locked in I've ever been in life. Probably right now is probably the most locked in I've ever been in life. But second, that's probably the most I ever was. I took a huge break, just cold turkey. I wasn't drinking, I wasn't smoking, I wasn't vaping. My job kind of laid off a lot of people. I was working at Qdoba at the time. It's like a fast food restaurant. So I started working at FedEx, which is like UPS, a little factory. So I was working there from 4 in the morning to like 10 in the morning. So I would literally just wake up, go to work, get off work, take a little hour or two nap, eat, work out, and just chill the whole day or go to my family's house, whatever. This was quarantine. Didn't smoke. It was hard for the first 5 days, for the first week or two. You know, my appetite was messed up. I couldn't fall asleep. I was getting cravings, but it brought me the most peace. And what I realized, and what you guys might need to realize too, is a lot of people smoke to run away from their problems or to suppress their feelings or to hide their problems or try to forget about them. But the only thing is, like, you're making it worse. You gotta come to the realization, like, okay, why is this hurting me so much? Why am I thinking about this so much? I feel like people only are addicted to smoking either because they don't like where they're at in life. They're really messed up about something in the past, whether they're grieving, whether it's they lost their job or broke up their family, whatever it is, they have regrets, or they just don't like how they feel when they're sober, which that's an internal thing. You need to get closer to God. You know, that's one thing. I've gotten way closer to God since I've sobered up, you know. I feel like the more and more you smoke, the more and more you're kind of drifting away from God. And I feel like it's kind of disrespectful to God too. I'm not saying I'm perfect. You know, I still, you know, dibble and dabble here and there, but I'm definitely not an everyday, and I definitely don't need it. You know, not only are you harming your health, but, you know, you might not be as confident and you're not as professional either. I've noticed, you know, since I started my business, I got a clothing brand, Real Legendary Status. This is actually just like my entertainment company though. Long story short, I used to be smelling like smoke all the time, eyes red, looking unprofessional. Looking back, man, I probably look so stupid and so ignorant, you know what I'm saying? But now that I have business meetings or I do collabs or sponsorships or try to network with people or even just showing my face on the internet, I want to look as presentable as possible. I want to be smelling good. I don't want to be looking high. I don't want to be smelling like smoke. That's unprofessional. You know, to me, if I can tell they smoke or they smell like smoke, I'm not going to take you serious. And that's another thing. Like when I used to like interact with people when I was smoking a lot, I used to kind of feel like a step behind. I used to feel a little slower. I just like being in the moment. Some people smoke so like they can get out of their own head, but to me nowadays, for the most part, it makes it worse. Like if I'm going through a lot or if I'm in a bad mood or some crazy stuff just happened or whatever, me and this girl getting into it, or I lost my job, or YouTube channel's not going how I want it to, or I have family issues, and then, you know, I do that stuff, it makes it worse. I get to overthink and I get trapped in my head. Sometimes I'll get paranoid too. Like I'll be smoking, then I'll go, you know, out to eat or go to a bar, and I'll just get like paranoid out of nowhere. Like every person I walk up to, I think they trying to set me up, or they trying to fight me or snatch my chain, you know, which sometimes that might be true. You know, you definitely got to have your head on the swivel. You got to be on point, but I might just be driving and be like, oh, this the cops behind me, like, you know, get paranoid, things like that. So all in all, man, I just feel like the best way to live life is being 100% sober. I know it's tough, but drinking, smoking, partying, you know, eating out to eat, whatever it is, those things aren't bad in moderation, but it's so hard to keep them in moderation. I feel like it's best to just not do them at all. So that's something I'm working on. You know, I'm not perfect. I'm still learning. I'm still figuring it out. It's really just like your mental willpower, and it's about your daily habits too. And it's also about who you hang with. All your friends are potheads and you're trying to quit smoking, you probably shouldn't hang around them, because even if they don't force you to do it, you being around them, you're going to want to do it. You're going to want to do that habit. It's called a cue, C-U-E. Something might cue you to do your bad habit. Let's say you get home and your parents aren't home. That might cue you to go eat the junk food in the pantry that they said you have to ask them before you eat it. If you're trying to work on something, man, it's all about your environment. Even if they're not trying to peer pressure you, it's almost like an invisible peer pressure. So I figured out so much stuff about myself. Like I really found myself during quarantine. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate, but I really found myself when I sobered up. I started reading books. I started journaling too. That's another thing that really clears my mind. I have a journal. I don't write in it often, every few months, you know what I'm saying? But I write the date at the top every time. I write however I'm feeling, what's going on in there, you know, people I'm interacting with, whatever, what's going on. And then I look back and I can read it like, dang, this is how I was feeling at the time, or dang, this is what I was going through. It's almost like YouTube is documentation, you know, it's therapy, things like that. So try to just not make the same mistake, man. Like I said, you can waste a lot of time, a lot of money. It's bad for your health, bad for your image, you know, the people you're around, man. One thing I noticed too, like the people at the top, not even just talking about money, but the people, you know, with status or foundation for their family, the people who are, you can tell they're really putting in that work, grinding, fulfilling their purpose, or something along those lines, elevating in life, period. Most of those people at the top aren't smokers. And if they do, they don't do it a lot. And if they do it a lot, they know how to control it. You know, they don't go out and about smelling or looking like it, can go without it. You gotta be able to function, man. And I feel like you can also see if someone, you can just tell if someone's a big smoker. Even if they don't smell like, you know, smoke or whatever, you can just look in their face. They don't really have that glow to their skin. I notice times when I go like weeks and months without, you know, doing it, like you can just see more of a sparkle in my eye. I just have these bags because I don't know why, if it's because I look at my phone too much when, you know, editing videos, or if I stay up too late. When I'm smoking all that, these bags look really, really, really bad. Like I look sleepy all day. I might look like I'm high even if I'm sober. That's just not how you want to present yourself, man. Just make sure that, I'm not saying you can't celebrate, but I feel like it's got to mean something when you do it. You know, you buy a new house, or you graduate college, or you hit 1,000 subscribers, or you had a big clothing brand drop, or somebody's birthday, things like that. It's good to things like that. it's good to celebrate. You know, it's an enhancement. It's an enhancement. You know, that's why people like it so much. You know, smoking, it enhances your perspective on reality, your experience. But the thing is, you shouldn't be enhancing your life every day, because otherwise you're not going to feel normal. You're not going to feel right when you're sober. You know what I'm saying? People who smoke all day or drink all day, they do that because when they feel sober, they feel miserable. They're craving that dopamine. They're craving it. Maybe even it's just that feeling of the smoke going in their lungs. Maybe it's just a feeling of, you know, drinking that alcohol or being around those people, being at the bar. They're craving something that's missing. So I feel like as long as you're, you know, a stoner or, you know, alcoholic or a big partier, you're always going to feel like you're missing something. You're always going to feel kind of empty. So learn to just appreciate the simple things in life. Learn to love your life sober. That's how we're meant to live life, period. We weren't born, you know, smoking out of your mom's womb. Trust me, there's times where when I was smoking all day and I would go even a day without it, I wouldn't feel right. I would feel a little anxiety in my stomach, or I would feel irritated quick. That's another thing. Smoking all the time, it can make you kind of more self-centered. You can get irritated quick. Your attention span is shorter. Your memory loss, like you definitely short-term memory. You can't remember as much. The list goes on, man. So what I'm saying is, man, don't make the same mistake I made smoking a lot at a young age. Your brain is still developing. You want to use all your brain power, all your brain cells, things like that, man. You want to live in the moment, be present, things like that, man. But like, comment, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this free game video. Dropping videos every day. I see you guys been running up my numbers lately. I appreciate it. Road to 100K. Comment any video ideas or any topics you guys want me to talk about. Make this year your best year. Make today the best day ever. Hope you guys are doing good. Keep grinding. Keep working hard. Love you guys. Appreciate all the support, for real. But yeah, we out. Link in bio for my clothing brand website. Real legendary status. Go copy some drip, man. Drip Star, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, let's go.